I'm sitting by the window in my apartment, watching the late afternoon sun bounce off Lake Michigan's choppy waves. I'm 35 years old now, settling into a life I never expected but secretly love. My name is Emily Carter. And tomorrow is my birthday. I've organized a modest celebration at that rooftop bar downtown I've been talking about for months. The air is crisp with early spring chill, and the wind carries a faint hint of rain from the evening forecast. Chicago streets below teem with rush hour traffic, honking horns and hurried commuters pushing past each other like tides in motion. I wrap my favorite wear-upon scarf tighter around my neck, lock the door, and step into restless city streets. Sarah has been my closest friend since college, the one person who knows every hidden corner of my past and my scattered dreams. She secured pastel blooms and string lights that will bathe the rooftop in a warm glow, while I love surprises. I insisted on choosing the music myself, some soft jazz, a few Motown classics, and a dash of 1990s pop that always gets cousins dancing. I glanced down at my phone again. A text from my older sister Lauren. Can't wait to celebrate with you tomorrow, love you. Her message is casual, but I can't ignore the hesitation I sense behind those simple words. Lauren is 3 years older than me, and she's been through a lot over the past year. Some days she feels miles away, even though she lives just 30 minutes from my place. Over coffee last month, Lauren confided in me about the 2 miscarriages she endured before I moved back home after my divorce. She described the physical pain, the emotional emptiness, and how she pretended everything was fine just to keep her job and maintain appearances. I felt powerless watching her hide her grief. I promised to keep her secret, even from our parents, whose own pressures sometimes made open conversations impossible. As the weekend approached, Lauren declined every invitation I sent: brunch, gym, even my casual wine night on Friday. Worried, I didn't push her. Instead, I texted her daily check-ins and left voicemails in clipped but caring tones. Tonight, though, I insisted she attend. It's my 35th birthday, not my 15th, and definitely not a time to let anyone slip away when I needed her most. Tonight, the city lights will glitter beneath us while we toast at sunset. The rooftop bar perches atop an Art Deco building near the Magnificent Mile, complete with exposed brick walls and modern Edison bulbs overhead. A handful of our closest friends, Laura from law school, Miguel from the office, and my cousin Tara, have our SVPD, my parents' older sister, and a few extended family members will follow as the evening unfolds. A few hours later, I stand in the coat room, smoothing down my navy blue wrap dress and adjusting the pearl earrings my grandmother left me. My pulse flutters every time the door swings open, when Lauren finally steps in. She's wearing a soft gray sweater and jeans, her cheeks pale. I rush over, hug her tight, and hold her longer than usual. She stiffens for a moment before her arms wrap around me in return. We weave through the maze of tables to join the others, the low hum of conversation and clinking glasses filling the air. I introduce Lauren to people she hasn't seen in months: clients, friends from my book club, and my boss, who greets her with a warm handshake. Lauren offers polite smiles and nods, but I catch her eyes drifting to the balcony's edge, as if she's craving space I'm not sure I can give. Dinner begins with platters of grilled salmon, fresh spring greens, and crusty sourdough. A gentle breeze whips through the rooftop's open windows, carrying distant jazz notes and the promise of an incoming storm. Lightning flickers far off, adding a thrill to the night. My friend Miguel raises his glass first, commending me on my resilience this year, the way I rebuilt my life after losing my job, and then my marriage. Laughter ripples across the table as Laura recounts my most embarrassing moment from law school orientation. Even Lauren chuckles, and I notice her posture soften. I realize how much I've missed this, our sister's bond, once so effortless, now strained beneath unspoken burdens. As the thunder rumbles overhead, I glance at Mom and Dad, who exchange proud smiles. My heart swells with gratitude for this circle of love supporting me tonight. Then the moment arrives. Tara raises her voice to get everyone's attention, and the chatter fades. My cheeks flush as I stand, glass in hand, ready to speak. I clear my throat, my gaze locking on Lauren's face. My voice trembles slightly as I begin. Thank you all for being here. Your presence means more than I can say, but especially to you, Lauren. I know you've been carrying losses behind that brave smile. A hush settles, and Lauren's eyes well with tears as I continue. I know about those losses you've hidden. How you masked your pains, oh no. One would worry, you don't have to hide anymore. You have us, your family and friends, and we love you beyond measure. Lauren sobs openly, her shoulders shaking. And I wrap her in my arms as thunder rolls overhead. As silence settles over the rooftop, I feel the weight of every eye on us. Lauren's shoulders tremble inside my arms. And for a moment I can't remember if I'm still holding my champagne flute or if I've let it slip. Onto the floor beside us. The soft glow of Edison bulbs overhead refracts in her tears as she buries her face in my shoulder. I press my cheek against her hair, inhaling the faint scent of rain on her sweater and the lavender shampoo she's loved since college. The thunder rolls again, louder this time, and I swear I can hear my own heart beating in my ears, steady and relentless. I brush a strand of hair from her face and whisper, "It's okay. You don't have to hold it in anymore." The trembling subsides slowly, and she lifts her head, her eyes red but resolute. Around us, plates are still half full, and the clinking of glasses resumes as our friends exchange glances. Miguel hands a napkin to Tara, who in turn offers it to our mother, whose eyes glisten with unshed tears. My father nods once, a quiet encouragement, then raises his glass again, catching Lauren's gaze with a gentleness I haven't seen in him since I was a child learning to ride a bike. I step back and signal to our friends that the toast is over, but the warmth in the air lingers. We turn back to the table, and I snap a smile for Lauren, letting her know, without words, that I'm still here, that we'll move forward together. We rejoin the chatter and laughter slowly. Laura, emboldened by the raw emotion she's just witnessed, launches into another story, this time about my shaky first job interview when I nearly tripped over my own tongue. Laughter bubbles up in my chest, and I realize how much I've missed the ordinary moments of being with family. When I glance at Lauren, I see her corner of the table has transformed. Plates of untouched food, a half-filled glass of sparkling water, and the glow of friends who now look at her with new understanding. In that instant, I resolve to keep her pain from isolating her ever again. Later, as the group disperses to the bar for another round, I lead Lauren to a quieter corner near the exposed brick. The wind whips strands of my hair across my face, but I hardly notice. My voice is soft when I ask, "Do you want to talk about what you're feeling?" She hesitates, biting her lower lip, then nods and closes her eyes. "I've been so angry," she begins, angry at myself, at the world for not giving me what I wanted. Her hands twist in her lap, and I slide in next to her, catching her fingers in mine. "You deserved better," I say firmly. "None of this is your fault." Her breath catches. I kept telling myself if I could just be stronger, if I could just be enough, then I wouldn't have to face the disappointment. But each time I saw another positive test, I hoped, and when it ended, I felt like I lost a piece of myself. She swallows hard, and I lean closer. "It wasn't a piece of you, Lauren, it was hope. And hope doesn't make you weak." I pause, searching her face. "I know you felt alone, but I'm here. We're all here. Whatever you need, space, a shoulder, medical advice, I will walk beside you." She exhales a shaky laugh. I've been so worried about how to even ask for help. I stand and extend my hand. "Then let's ask together." I guide her back toward the bar where our parents are speaking with the manager about dessert. Her favorite chocolate cake. Lauren glances at the cake stand, and for the first time tonight, her lips curl into a small, genuine smile. I wrap an arm around her waist as we approach the table. Mom greets us with an understanding nod and holds out 2 forks. "I thought she might want hers now," she says, pushing the cake plate slightly toward Lauren. My father pours us both more champagne and winks at me. It's such a simple gesture, yet it feels monumental, a family united over cake and shared burdens. We raise our glasses quietly, and this time the toast is for Lauren. "To strength and sisterhood," I say, and when our glasses meet, I feel the fragile barrier around her heart crack a little more. We retreat to the balcony, leaning against the railing as the first drops of rain begin to fall. The city lights shimmer through the mist, and the distant hum of traffic feels like a lullaby. Lauren rests her head on my shoulder. "Thank you for not letting me disappear," she whispers. The wind picks up, carrying the scent of rain and possibility. I press my forehead to hers. "You're never disappearing, I promise, not now, not ever." As we stand there, the storm breaking around us, I realize this moment marks the true beginning of my 35th year. It's not just a celebration of my birth, but of our bond, remade stronger through honesty and love. I squeezed Lauren's hand and glanced back at the rooftop, gathering laughter, light, and family all intertwined. In that instant, I know the next chapter of our lives will be written side by side, rain or shine, and for the first time in months, I feel hopeful for both of us. The rain fell steadily as we lingered on the balcony, and I could feel Lauren's heartbeat steadying against my side. The storm had driven away the rest of the guests, and the rooftop was now ours alone. I wrapped my arms around her and let her rest her head on my shoulder. In that quiet moment, I realized how much of my life I had spent trying to shelter her without ever giving her the space to let me in. The pitter-patter of rain on the metal railing sounded like a promise, drumming out the painful silence we'd shared for too long. When the rain slowed to a gentle drizzle, we slipped back inside and found the remaining staff packing up. I asked the manager if we could stay a little longer while I drove Lauren home. He offered us warm towels and refilled our glasses without a word, sensing the significance of the night. Wrapped in plush blankets beside the hearthlight glow of the bar's fireplace, we sat in companionable silence. I looked at Lauren's face, illuminated by the flickering embers of the fire, and realized how grateful I was that she had finally let me reach her. I drove her home under gray skies, the wipers sweeping heavy drops from the windshield as if trying to chase away the weight of the past few months. Lauren stared out the window, her fingers tracing the condensation on the glass. I wanted to talk, but I let her gather her thoughts. When I finally parked in front of her townhouse, she turned and gave me a trembling smile. "Thank you," she whispered, "for tonight, and for everything." I insisted on carrying her bag up the front steps, feeling as if I were carrying the fragile hope she'd almost lost. Inside her living room, the lights were dim and the air smelled faintly of lavender and vanilla. We settled on the couch, with mugs of chamomile tea, my go-to remedy for late-night nerves. I passed her a tissue and waited. After a moment, she placed her hand over mine. "I don't want this to be the end of tonight's progress," she said. "I want to keep moving forward." I nodded, feeling tears prick my own eyes. "Me too," I said. "Whatever pace you need, I'll keep pace with you." Over the next week, we fell into a new rhythm. I visited her every evening, and sometimes she came over to my apartment. We cooked dinners together: roasted chicken with lemon and thyme, sautéed greens, and her favorite mushroom risotto. We talked about everything: work, stress, the houseplants we'd neglected, movies we wanted to see. Most importantly, we talked about her losses. Each recounting felt less like unearthing old wounds and more like building a bridge across which we could carry our shared love. One afternoon, I convinced her to see a specialist. I'd found a compassionate reproductive endocrinologist known for her empathetic approach. I scheduled the appointment and accompanied Lauren to the clinic. We arrived early, and while we sat in the bright waiting room, I held her hand. When the doctor entered, she greeted us both warmly, explaining each test and procedure in plain language. I watched Lauren's shoulders relax as she realized she wouldn't have to face this alone. I squeezed her hand and whispered, "We're a team." After the appointment, we stopped at a small cafe around the corner. The air smelled of fresh bread and espresso over avocado toast. Lauren talked about her hopes about eventually becoming a mother, about raising a child who would grow up knowing the strength it takes to endure hardship. I listened, tears welling up in my eyes, and told her how proud I was of her bravery. We toasted with iced lattes, sealing our pact to support each other through every step. That weekend, I organized a small family brunch to keep the momentum going. I invited Mom and Dad, Miguel, Laura, and a few close friends. We gathered at my favorite bakery cafe with its mismatched chairs and sunlit windows. I watched as Lauren laughed when my dad told his terrible jokes, as she clinked glasses with Miguel, and as she hugged Mom tight. Seeing her surrounded by love and laughter reminded me that recovery is not a solo journey, but a path we walk together. In the days that followed, I noticed a shift in both of us. Lauren began journaling again, filling pages with gratitude lists and dreams for the future. She even started painting abstract canvases of swirling blues and greens that she hung in her living room. I returned to my writing desk, drafting a new proposal for my freelance copywriting business, inspired by the raw honesty of our shared experiences. I realized that healing others had helped me heal parts of myself I'd long neglected. On my actual birthday 2 weeks later, Lauren surprised me with a small gathering at my apartment. She decorated the living room with bouquets of wild flowers and homemade garlands. She baked me the most decadent chocolate cake I'd ever tasted, and, as we lit candles, she smiled so brightly that I forgot all the pain that had preceded it. We raised our glasses, mine of Prosecco. Hers of sparkling water, and toasted not only to my new year but to our renewed sisterhood, to resilience, she said, her voice steady, and to the adventures ahead. That night, as we lay side by side on my couch, I reflected on everything we'd been through, the tension, the silence, the tears, and now this bed of laughter and warmth. I realized that the greatest gift of turning 35 wasn't a party or presents, it was the deepening of a bond I once thought irreparable. I turned to look at Lauren, her eyes closed in sleep, and felt a surge of love. I promise, I whispered, I'll never let you face anything alone. In the weeks that followed, we continued our journey hand in hand. We attended support group meetings together, exchanged books on fertility and self-care, and planned small weekend trips to the lakeshore to watch the sunset over Lake Michigan. I saw Lauren's spirit reignite with each passing day, and I felt my own confidence bloom alongside her growth. Our lives, once weighed down by unspoken grief, now moved forward with purpose and shared dreams. Looking back on that birthday night, and the storm that raged both outside and within us, I see how catastrophe can give way to connection when hearts are open. At 35, I found a deeper understanding of what it means to love someone, truly love them in their darkest hours, and to celebrate them in moments of joy. My sister's tears that night were not a sign of defeat but the breaking dawn of a new beginning. As the sun set on another day, I knew we were stronger together, ready to face whatever storms lay ahead.